This is a new ministry which is just starting. Reverend Hood needs your help in sharing the good news of Jesus Christ and His power throughout the world. If you would be so kind as to send a donation to Nicholas Hood III Ministries of any amount, Reverend Hood will send you a free complimentary copy of his book of original personal prayers and beautiful photographs entitled The Test, The Strength, The Endurance, and The Way Out. We appreciate your support, and in this way, you can partner with Reverend Hood in sharing the good news of Jesus throughout the world. Please make your check out to Nicholas Hood III Ministries and mail it to 4535 Chrysler Drive, Detroit, Michigan, 48201.
You know why I really love Nick Hood as a minister? I watched his father do it, and he took over for the church, and he was one of us, but he really turned out to be a great minister. I know it's hard, and that's something that I know that all ministers may not be doing what they're doing because for the right reasons, but I know it's hard. I know he's a beautiful man, and we've been knowing each other for over 50 years. I believe in him. He's inspired me in so many ways to do what I'm doing and try to be the best at it. Make sure you watch Nick Hood's Ministries. You'll never be the same.
Welcome to Nicholas Hood III Ministries, a ministry of hope, spiritual inspiration, personal power guided by Christian love. May the power of God's Holy Spirit fall upon you as you sit back and enjoy today's program. I introduce you now to Pastor Nicholas Hood III.
Today I want to talk about keeping the door open. Keeping the door open. There's a song that's on the radio now by a guy named Bruno Mars. He's got another songwriter and singer, Anderson .Paak, and I forget the name of the third writer, but they have written this song. It's a very popular song where a guy in love with a woman is talking about how he wants to keep the door open. He wants to see her. He can't stop thinking about her. And all of us, any of us who've ever been in love, have had a similar feeling. And I want you to ask yourself, do you ever remember a time when you just really wanted to see somebody? And not only did you want to see them, you wanted to know that they loved you. And early in relationships, before you advance in a relationship, there's a lot of uncertainty. Does she like me? Does she even care about me? Does she want to know more about me? Can we have possibility together? And then there are other times, once we get a little farther along in a relationship, even before people get married, when they are quote unquote a couple or quote unquote going together. When I was a kid, people used to, in elementary school would say, do you want to go with me? Or I want to go with you. But there's a lot of uncertainty in that process. And then for those of us who get married, but even before you get married, as the relationship begins to develop, you have situations where sometimes people get mad at each other. Sometimes they will fall out with each other. Sometimes there are misunderstandings in love. One person says one thing, another says another. One person is thinking one thing, another is thinking another. And but there's still a kernel of love, a little tender, a little flame of love that is there. And but you really don't know what's coming next. And this expression, just keep the door open. To me, what it means is if I am to keep the door open for you, That means that come good times or bad times, come uncertainty, come financial ruin or whatever, if there are mistakes that I have made, sometimes couples fall out because they're angry with each other. Sometimes they don't even fall out. Sometimes people just, some people will say they grow apart. Sometimes people don't even grow apart. Sometimes they still love each other, but one is moved, maybe across the country, following a dream, following a passion, and a passion for a career. It doesn't necessarily mean that they don't like the other person. But in a situation like that, you'll sometimes hear the expression, just keep the door open. Just keep the door open. The open door represents possibility. The open door represents that I still care about you. I still think about you. I still want to be with you. But I can't be with you because we're separated by time and space, relationships. And you may be wondering, this is a religious program, where's the Reverend going with all this talk about keeping the door open? But I heard this song the other day, and this guy, Bruno Mars, and the other one, Anderson .Paak, they're prancing around, and they are singing a song. And it's kind of funny to me because, the language is the hip-hop language of today. Where you at? What you doing? But what they are really singing about is, I hope you're still thinking about me. I'm thinking about you. In their song, they sing about how good the woman looks, how much they think about the woman, want to be with the woman, but they don't know where the woman is. And they're even wondering, does the woman still like me? And the punchline is, just keep the door open. Just keep the door open. And I encourage you to check it out. Now, you may be asking me, again, asking yourself, where's the Reverend going with this? But if you've been watching this program over the last several months, you'll hear me say almost every week that if you look at the Bible, if you read the Bible and familiarize yourself with it, what you will find is that there is something on every subject in the Bible. And for me, when I heard this song, Keep the Door Open, these two young guys singing, really it's three young guys singing this song about keep the door open, I began to think about all the verses in the Bible where it talks about the open door. And the one I want to focus on today is from Revelation. You can get out your Bible or you can pick it up on your telephone and just go to Revelation chapter 3. And in chapter 3 of the book of Revelation, the revelation of God comes through John, the divine, and he is actually from the beginning of Revelation, first chapter, all the way to the fourth chapter. It tells us of 7 churches. And each of these churches is given a revelation. And, the worst one is in chapter 4. The church is called Laodicea. And there, the revelation says, I know your works, you're neither hot nor cold. Therefore, I will spew you out of my mouth. But in chapter 3, there's this beautiful line in verse 8. And in verse 8, John gives the word, and his word says simply, I know your works. I know your works. And even though you have little, you have not denied me. And because you have so little, but you have not denied me, I have set before you an open door. I have set before you an open door. And the open door in the book of Revelation is an open door of a reward. Say, that you have done well, and because you've done well, I have opened a door unto you. And in love, you and I ought to always keep an open door, particularly when men and women, husbands and wives, become angry with each other. I encourage you. You can put it on me if you want to get back together with your husband, you want to get back together with your wife. Maybe you want to patch up a relationship with a son or a daughter, a grandchild. Keep the door open. And how do we keep the door open? We keep the door open, my friends, by not putting up barricades. And what are the barricades? Sometimes we can become so angry with one another, we call a person out. We call them out of their name. Sometimes people will close the door by saying something really mean. I don't know if any of you, know people, maybe you're living with a person or have lived with a person. Maybe you're divorced from a person who just did really mean things to you. But if you love a person, I encourage you to never go so far, to never say such rude things, never do such bad things, that the door is just permanently shut. Because once you shut the door, it's hard to get back. In my community, one of those door closing things is if you start talking about a person's mother. You start talking about their mama, their grandmama, their granddaddy. You start calling them out of their names. That can be a deal breaker. If you cut a person out physically, you are shutting the door. But what I hear in the Bible is an open door. We hear it in the Revelation. I hear it in the words of Jesus. Come to me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, then I will give you rest. He's talking about an open door. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. And I stand at the door. Just ask and it shall be given to you. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door will be opened unto you. So I want you to think about that. I'm going to wind down for this first half of this show. And when I come back, I want to talk a little bit more about this open door. Thanks so much for watching. Call a friend. Tell them Nick Hood's on the line. And we're talking about that open door. Thank you so much for being here today.
America used to be considered a godly country. It doesn't seem to be that way to me now. And I don't mean to be disrespectful or anything, but it's so many things they're okaying for the wrong reasons. There's not godly reason. People need to really open up the Bible, the Bible, and look in it and really get it into their heart. And this, the way the Reverend Hood is doing this is a comfortable way. It's not forcing anything on people. It's a comfortable way and a loving way for it to continue to move in that direction.
The way Reverend Hood presents it, you can understand it, and it makes you want to delve into the Bible even more so that you can see more, because it seems like the program goes off too fast. We need the bread of life.
We really do.
These days, we need it more than ever. And Reverend Hood's ministry on TV is giving us our bread.
Today, I'm talking about keep the door open. And I started with a song of Bruno Mars and his friends, Keep the Door Open. But it's bigger than this. The song is a love song where a relationship is strained and one party wants the other one to get back with him. And so he says, keep the door open. And sometimes it may take years for lovers to get back together. But if people really love one another, neither time nor space can keep them apart, because they still feel something for each other. But to me, one of the sad things in life is when a door is open for you, but you don't take advantage of it. The door is only a portal. The door that John is talking about in the book of Revelation, when he says, I set before you an open door to the church at Philadelphia. That's God's way of saying through John that the church at Philadelphia has an open door of a blessing, which is waiting for them. But to me, one of the sad things in life is when there's an open door that's set before us, but we don't take advantage of it. And what kind of open doors are there? There's the open door of love. And I know some people who fell in love, when they're in their teens, 16 and 18. They fell in love, but didn't get to really reconnect in love until they were in their 60s. And on one hand, that's a beautiful story. Unrequited love and love that is united later in life. But I just wonder what could have transpired in their love when they were young, had they taken advantage of that open door when they were young and in love. And to me, there are all kinds of open doors that we just don't walk through. There are open doors professionally. When we've had opportunities to do one thing or another, but some people just don't take advantage of it. There are open doors that God has given to us in terms of our bodies. Your body is like a door. But if you don't take care of your body, that's a wasted door. And you can't do much with it. And so what I'm talking about today is just keep the door open. And the blessing that I see in this text in Revelation chapter 3, where God says, behold, I set before you an open door. That's God's way of saying, I have a reward for you, the church at Philadelphia. And in like manner, God has opened doors before each of us. God has opened doors before our churches. But the question is, what will we as the modern day church do with this open door of God? And what is the open door that God has put before the church today? The open door is, what will you do for the poor? What will your church do for the people who are displaced, dispossessed, disinherited? What will your church do for those who are really, really poor? And what will your church do for those who are sick and those who are suffering? And you and I, as representatives of the church, now I know somebody looking at this may say, Reverend, I haven't been in church in years. I maybe grew up in the church, but I'm not really active in the church now. But I'm saying today that God is looking at you and me as the church. As far as I'm concerned, what we're doing today is another rendition of church. We're not in a religious edifice with pews. We're not decorated like a church, but in a sense, this is a church because this is a ministry. And I want you to think of it as a ministry. But the real question is, the door of God is an opening right now, right here on the Word Network. And the question is, what will you and what will I do to further the Word of God? And we can do it right here. And part of what I see myself doing in this ministry is keeping the door of God open. And I am keeping the door of God open for you. And I want you to look at your own life and ask yourself, what am I doing with what God has given to me? God gave me a body. Am I really using it? God has given me a mind. Am I thinking to the glory of God? God has given me eyes. Am I using my eyes to witness the suffering that's out there? Am I using my eyes to witness the joy and to celebrate the joy that I see out there? Am I using my ears to hear what God is saying to me? Am I using my ears to hear what my neighbor is saying to me? And how can I, in my own life, keep the door open? And am I shutting the door? I want you to ask yourself, what doors have I shut? Who in my life have I shut out because I don't like them? Who in my life have I shut out because they got on my nerves? Who in my life have I shut a door in their face because they were mean, disrespectful, rude, and unkind to me? And am I really serving the purposes of God if I keep the door shut? Or at some point, do I need to open up the doors of faith? Do I need to open my own life up through my faith in Jesus Christ? And I tell you, as Christians, we have not hit the mark of God until you and I get to the point where we start to treat ourselves like an open door, to say, come to me, and I would, through my own life, I will try to help you with your life. Come to me, and I will try to cheer you up. And I am not going to put a barrier between you and me. I can't tell you the number of parents I know who put up barriers between themselves and their children because their children got on their nerves. I can't tell you the number of people, children, who put up a barrier between themselves and a brother or a sister because they got on their nerves. And when do people get on each other's nerves as adults? We see it often at a time of death, when it's time to look at the inheritance of what mama and daddy left. I know people who've actually cut out a brother or a sister from a will, cut out, or at least the desires of a will. They may not have cut out the will, but sometimes mama or daddy has left the house to one child, and the other child will try to finagle the house out of them. I hope I'm not stepping on anybody's toes who's looking at this today. But if you cut a brother or a sister out from their inheritance, you are really closing the door. And so the real question that I think is before us today is, there are a couple questions. Number one, am I closing or am I opening doors for those around me? If I love somebody, I really care for them, but we've had differences. Maybe it's my fault, maybe it's your fault, but there are differences. And the real question is, how do we move forward in love? What do we do about the love that God has put in our hands? God put us together for a reason. It wasn't by accident that we met one another. It wasn't by accident that we clicked with one another and enjoyed each other's company. And so even though we're separated, what do we do about maintaining a relationship? Do we stop talking? Do we stop connecting? And how do we do that? How do we keep a door open and to be respectful of one another? And so I'm challenging you today, and I want you to make a list. We've got a couple minutes left in this show, but I want you to make a list of all the doors you've shut. And by the same token, I want to ask you to ask yourself, what are the doors that I have opened where somebody refused to walk through that door? And then ask yourself, are there doors that I kept open? Doors that I was willing to knock on, even though it looked bad, even though there were cross words that were said, maybe unfortunate things that were done. But how many times have I or somebody else taken advantage in a good way of that open door so that love could grow? So that's really what I'm talking about today. And I thank you so much for watching the program. And I want to extend to you an open door right now. I want you to think about this program. I want you to think about this ministry. You may be like a lot of folk in America today who don't really belong to a church, or you belong to church, but you haven't been to church in a long time for whatever reasons. But I just want you to know that I am opening this door for you. And I want you to open the door and ask yourself, how can I help this ministry to grow? And the door is open on my end, but I want you to open the door on your end. And there are ways you can help this ministry to grow. Number one, I want you to pray for Nick Hood Ministries. I want you to pray for me. A friend of mine called me, actually texted me this morning and just said, hello. And I texted him back and he said, how are you doing? I said, I'm doing fine. By the way, I'm getting ready to go and tape this episode. I'm going to tape 4 episodes today for this ministry, and I want you to pray for me. And the guy wrote me back. He texted me back and he said, whoa, wow. I didn't know that's what you were going for. And I told him, said, pray for me, that I'm in my right mind. And I can remember everything that I wanted to say. And in like manner, you can help this ministry with this open door by praying for me. I am praying for you. I want you to pray for me. Number 2, I want you to think about financially supporting this ministry. I received wonderful support this week and repeat supporters in Delgenia Barber, Daphne, and Raynard Tucker. But there are many others. And I just want you to try to help any way that you can. Friends, I've got to wrap this up, but I just want you to know my door is open. The door of God is open for you. And the real question is, will you walk through that door, or will you stand out on the curb, twiddling your thumbs and licking your fingers and feeling sorry for yourself for some mistake that you did a long time ago? The door of God is open. Just saying, come to me right now, and I will give you rest. Thanks so much for being with me today. God bless, and I hope to see you next week praying for you.
Thank you for watching today's program. We hope you've been blessed in a powerful way. Just knowing you took the time to watch today's broadcast is a great encouragement to Pastor Nick Hood. If this broadcast has been a blessing to you, we ask that you mail a tax-free donation to Nicholas Hood Ministries at 4535 Chrysler Drive, Detroit, Michigan, 48201.
And the point that I'm making is that in everybody's life, at some